Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening's webinar. Today's class is going to be about the essence faculty, and we're going to approach the puzzle of our immortality, of us being ever living. Now, as a very brief 30-second recap, last class we learned about karma and its challenges and opportunities. We also learned about the soul bond that we make before we come into this world, and the karmic compass that gets set to deliver us the experiences of our soul bond. We discussed karma from the perspective of cause and effect, and how when cycles start, they are unending and representing the algorithm of life, algorithm of karma. So every cause creates an effect which becomes a cause to other effects, and it's a continuous chain. Now, then finally we learned about the karma of enlightenment, something which has the power to press the reset button in our lives and change future events based on our commitments and our spiritual journey. So this is a big commitment, and the rewards are equally astronomical, but it's a very serious commitment we take to draw upon ourselves the karma of enlightenment. And again, we can ask for it, but whether we are granted it is not up to us. We will now, let's progress with the concept of essence, today's class. What is essence? And you've all heard the word essence and form. But what is essence? Essence is the foundation that underlies the form in all creation. So essence is the foundation that underlies the form in all creation. Essence is the underlying power that creates the form. It is the intelligence that causes form to manifest. It is like the intelligence of the architect that designs and creates a form. So essence is unseen, but it is the foundation. Without essence, there is no form. Yet essence is unseen because all we can see is form. When you look at a building, you can admire its form, but the architect and his or her thoughts remain completely unseen. But rest assured that without the architect and their design and their thoughts and their intelligence, the building would not exist. Essence is timeless. It is eternal. It comes from the highest level of your being, the superconscious mind, and the linkage with your creator. This is where inspiration is born. So true essence is the intelligence and energy that the creator places in all forms that he creates. Now, even when, according to the scriptures, he created the human being, he formed us from clay. And the art and energy and intelligence underlying our physical form is his essence, and now our essence. We see each other and marvel at what a beautiful work of art the human body is, apart from the work of science. But without the essence, this body would not exist. So the Creator has placed his essence in all trees, plants, nature, oceans, universes, all life forms. And his essence is the unseen power, the unseen art, the unseen design, the unseen life that resides in every single form. Now, everything I've said to you may have gotten through to you, but I'm sure you still have so many questions, because essence to most of us is abstract. We cannot see it. We know what it is. We've read about it. We've heard about it. But how about we try and internalize essence deeper? So let's learn a technique that will enable us to experience essence, understand it deeper. Now, I'd like you to visualize what I'm saying before we do the first meditation. So you've all seen a calm sea. So visualize water in the sea at the surface that's very tranquil, very calm. Then a gust of wind blows by, forming a ripple, forming many ripples. You can see that. Then the ripples get larger and larger and larger, and they become waves. So you can see a wave. What started as a ripple, you can see a small wave now that goes up and down at the surface of the water. Then the wave becomes bigger with lots of power that can even capsize a boat or a ship. It's so powerful, it's huge. And then this wave reaches the shore and crashes onto the beach sand. And then it disappears. And the water ebbs back into the sea, calmly and quietly. Okay? So by now, I think you all visualize this. So I'd like you now to sit back, close your eyes, relax, and breathe freely. Be completely relaxed, completely relaxed. And I'd like you to imagine that you're standing on a tall cliff in front of the ocean. So you're standing on a tall cliff, and below you is the ocean. And the ocean is very calm. Take a moment and look at the ocean. You're on the tall cliff and you're looking down at a very calm ocean. And the sun is shining. But then there's a cloud that comes over us and it starts raining. The water is still very calm in the sea, but it starts raining and these beautiful crystal clear drops of water are falling before our eyes in the thousands and landing in the sea. Take a moment and look at these droplets of water as they go past your eyes, falling down as beautiful rain. Each droplet is crystal clear and beautiful. Take a look at the rain as it goes past your eyes. And then these droplets of rain begin to merge together. So instead of thousands of droplets, there are fewer, hundreds of droplets. The droplets are bigger. And then the droplets keep merging in each other, until they all merge into forming one beautiful crystal clear droplet. And that droplet stops right in front of your eyes. It goes completely still. Take a moment and look at this beautiful droplet of water. It's like a diamond, so pure, brilliant, clear. Look at this droplet of water right in front of your eyes. And then the droplet comes closer and closer to you until you merge into the droplet. You are now the droplet of water. And this droplet goes down slowly and lands in the ocean. So you are now water, and you are the ocean. And you are resting as a droplet along on the calm ocean. You are water. You are still in the calm ocean. Take a moment and experience the calmness of the ocean. And you are now part of the ocean. You are water. And you are at the surface of this water. And then a gentle wind blows by, and you the water, you become a ripple. So you start to move with the ripple. And you keep moving and growing until the ripple becomes a wave. So you are now the water and you are the wave. And this wave keeps journeying, nice and slow. And as it journeys, it becomes bigger and bigger. So you, the wave, are growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And you are flowing faster and faster and faster. And you gain so much power as you begin to roar as this mighty wave in the ocean. You are rushing with great urgency, not knowing where you're going, not even knowing why you are rushing, not even knowing what the urgency is, but you are going with great force. Take a moment and experience this great rush and force and power and urgency. Experience the energy of this wave that you are. You are rushing at such speed. Where you are going, you don't know. Why you are rushing, you don't know. You have an innate sense of urgency and you just keep going. Experience that energy. Experience the wave. Experience the energy of its form. And then suddenly, as this wave is nice and tall, as you're nice and tall, you go completely still. So the wave stands still. It goes completely calm. And it's just frozen. And you are completely still. So while the wave is there, it's not moving. But all you now have is water that is completely still in this wave. Take a moment and experience the peace and the calmness of the stillness. Complete stillness, complete peace. The wave is just frozen, stopped. Experience the peace, experience the calmness. And compare this calmness to the rushing energy you felt a few moments before. The urgency, the rushing, the going in a direction which you didn't know where. Compare that energy with the peace and calmness of stillness. Which one of the two would you prefer? Would you prefer that rushing, fast-paced urgency of the form, of the wave? Or do you prefer the calmness and peace and tranquility of stillness? Experience both. And now suddenly the stillness is gone and you, the wave, are rushing forward again. You're moving at high speed. And you have grown enormous. And when you look in front of you, you see yourself approaching the beach. And the children who see you coming, the giant wave, actually run out of the sea because they're afraid. And you come crashing onto the sand of the beach. And now you are no longer a wave. You're just the water of the wave. And you ebb back slowly into the ocean. And you are drawn deep, deep, deep down into the bottom of the ocean, where everything is completely calm. Everything is completely still. You're secure. You are home in your abode of complete stillness. You are water. You are the essence of that wave. And even though the wave has disappeared, you continue to live. And you are completely still, because you are the essence. Take a moment and savor the peace and calmness and tranquility and security and permanence of the essence, because you are forever. The ocean is forever. You are infinite. So yes, your essence took the form of a wave. You experienced the rush, you experienced the urgency, you experienced the energy, you experienced the power. But that's all it was in the wave. That was its form. That was your form. But you are, as essence, completely still and calm. Experience the calmness. And then open your eyes whenever you're ready. What you have just experienced is birth, life, and death, and a moment of stillness in meditation when that wave stopped. You see, you and me and all creation, we are the ocean. That's our essence. As the essence, we are never really born, nor do we die. The water in the ocean is never born, nor does it die. We are the water of the ocean that emerges as the ripple, and then we become the wave. That's our form. So enjoy, and then we enjoy the journey of power along the way. But all waves end at the shore when we finish our journey. We simply continue though. Even after the wave is ended, we continue to be water, the essence, like we have always been and always will be. So that's why each one of us is immortal. We emerge from the ocean and become the wave. And when we finish our journey at the shore, we dissolve back into the ocean. So we emerge and dissolve. This, my dear friends, is the essence and form. In the short experience, in the short meditation, you experienced both. You see, you experience the energy, rushing, urgency, power of the form, which you do every day in your physical being. Here, the form you took was the wave, and that's what you're living with. But when you went still in meditation, you felt that peace, you felt that calmness, you felt yourself, you've experienced your essence. And when the stillness ended, you kept rushing till you ended up at the shore and you ebbed back into the bottom of the ocean. So you always exist, but now you're only essence. If you take away the water, take away the essence, there is no wave. So you can see now why with meditation, going into stillness and connecting with your essence is so empowering along your journey. You become constantly in touch with your essence as you grow in meditation. And you consciously realize that the wave and all other waves are temporary. You are the essence that creates all waves. You are the water. Now, if you live with this understanding, your life takes on a whole new dimension, doesn't it? Because in this one simple meditation, you experienced essence, which was continuous. You experienced form, both of them. And I'm sure now you realize that you want to meditate every day. You want to live with that conscious awareness of the essence. So you can be with that stillness that you experienced when the wave stood still. There was so much relief to it. There was so much peace to it. So your focus, when you live this way, shifts from living purely in the material world, where the wave is everything, to realizing that you are the wave and its water. Beautiful realization. You are eternal. You are immortal. And seek to derive the most from this short material passage we call life. But you are immortal. Now think about power, control, ego, fame, fortune. It's nothing, just a fleeting illusion. What matters is the good you do with it. The high and mighty and ultra rich and ultra powerful, they are all big waves, for sure. They truly believe that they are above all waves, failing to realize that all waves are one essence, one water. And the correct attitude towards all creation is one of humility. I would say to the people who consider themselves high and mighty and above all, I would say to them, your essence and everyone's essence is one. Your power and everyone else's power is one. So what makes you feel high and mighty? It is just an illusion. You are nothing, absolutely nothing. And yet, with your essence, you are everything. Think about it. The huge, mighty waves crash at the shore, making a loud noise. Some waves louder than others. That's all the high and mighty may achieve, the noise, especially if they are ego-driven. If they are humble and they are mighty, they finish at the shore gently, despite their size. Some huge waves, you will see, as they near the shore, they pull a lot of water towards them, and they lower their height. And then they drop in height and end their journey very smoothly. Massive waves. The surfers hate those kind of waves because they're waiting, they're excited that this wave is coming and I'm going to ride on it. But it pulls all the water towards it, drops its level, and finishes at the shore. So it's disappointing for them, but think of the humility. The mighty can also be humble and finish one way. The mighty with the ego can finish with just noise. Now, such waves that become humble and finish at the shore gently, the surfers cannot ride on them. They allow everything to float on them with peace. You see how simple life is? How simple essence and form is? And remember, when your ego gets in the way, and I'm sure it does for all of us, think of the wave. I have sat at the beach for long hours, but I don't remember any of those big roaring waves. Because when they crash, they make a huge noise and they look spectacular. But a moment later, there is another one and another. So don't waste your life wanting to be superior. Don't waste precious time and work so hard to create a legacy to be remembered by the world, just to satisfy the ego. It is unimportant. No one will remember after long enough time has gone by. So build a legacy if you must, but for the right reasons. Not to be remembered by, that's the wrong reason. Let your legacy live through others, while you remain hidden like the essence behind the legacy. Live your life fully, and just be. And take in all the experiences of life and just be. Live every moment fully and just be. You are not the wave that is in a rush, feeling urgency that it does not even understand. You are water, just water, pure essence. And celebrate this gift of life. And live in harmony between your essence and your form. And let your legacy be one of bringing light, happiness, love, peace and healing to others. So I hope you enjoyed that journey and the realization of who you really are. You are the immortal essence. Well above the material being that you always thought you were. Well above the wave. Much higher than it can ever be. And you are permanent. Many times I've spoken about seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary. Essence is the extraordinary. And now I hope today we all at least got a small taste of our own essence. Through focus, conscious awareness, meditation, and living in oneness, we can recognize essence in every form of creation. So, that was an interesting, a fun exercise, and recognizing that you, the water, are the wave, and you live well beyond the wave. Now let us consider the journey of our soul in this material world. Let us learn this important concept through a conversation between Maya, an unborn soul who wishes to be born in our material world, so she's still at soul stage, and her origin, the creator. So Maya is having this conversation with her creator before she takes on a physical form in our material world. Now, before granting Maya her wish, the creator wants to know if she is ready for this birth in the material world. Is she clear about her purpose? Does she know the soul bond she wishes to make? And we learned all about soul bond last week, which will set her karmic compass to deliver her that bond. So here's how the conversation goes. So the creator asks Maya, what aspects of me, and therefore us, do you seek to fully realize during your journey through this new world, the material world? What aspects of us do you wish to fully realize in this material world? And she has several lessons to learn, but we won't go into all of them. But here is the biggest one of all. Maya says to the origin, you are the origin, the creator, with no beginning and no end. You are ever living, you are ever continuous, and immortal. And I pray to know, realize, and become the ever living, the immortal, the ever continuous. And I pray to complete my journey by merging into your divine ocean of light. That is a purpose I wish to accomplish during this life in this material world. So the origin says to her, this is the ultimate request every soul makes when they are ready to complete their journey. To achieve this, you will go into a world that is temporary. Nothing there lives forever. Nothing there is continuous. You are going into a world governed by time, where everything has a beginning, a perceived existence, and an end. And everyone is a slave of time. So Maya asks the origin, is this time real? How can it ever make ever-living and immortal souls become mortal? So the origin replies, you as Maya the soul will always be immortal. You will always be ever-living. But your physical form will be of limited duration. It will age and it will die in this world. And while you live in this world and come to accept that everything is a slave of time, you will actually begin to doubt the fact that you are everything and you are immortal. You will actually begin to doubt that. You will feel that you just belong into that block of time. But you must always remember that time is not real. It is an illusion. It does not exist like you do as a soul. It is fleeting It is temporary, and it comes and goes. People in the world you are going to measure time by rotating devices they call clocks. And these devices all rotate at the same speed, at the same moment. And the readings of these devices is how they measure this illusionary time. They use these devices to synchronize when they will do what, when they will meet whom. It is just a basic means of coordinating their lives. That does not make time real. Measuring what lies between a start and an end point also does not make time real. It is just a way of recording events, a clever way. But don't be misled into believing it is real. It's just a method. The people in this world that you are going to waste so much of their life's opportunity being obsessed and engrossed with time. Time that does not even exist. In this material world, you will just have to be and take in all the experiences that your karma gifts you and learn from them and gain knowledge and become light. The golden rule of life in the material world is just be. Just be. Watch yourself grow in your physical form, mature, and gracefully age like the cycle of every creation. No rotating device should be allowed to decide that beautiful cycle of being for you. No rotating device, no time should decide that for you. You decide, you watch, you be, and you watch yourself. You let yourself be. You will miss, if you get engrossed in time, you will miss the true beauty of your existence as the immortal in the mortal. That's a very beautiful place to be, the immortal in the mortal. Don't lose the opportunity of experiencing that. It is very empowering, and you must harness it and you must capture that experience. Admire the process of being the ever-living in the living, because you, the essence, are ever-living. Admire that process of being the ever-living in the living, the ever-present in the present. As you go from birth to adulthood to the sunset phases of your life, be in awe of it, for it is a cycle of my creation with my essence. If you can do this, you will gain so much. You will utilize every aspect of being in this new material world to your greatest benefit. And do not be naive. Do not be pushed by others to waste this golden opportunity of life, living like an accidental object that bounces around a cyclone. Be the cyclone itself, for you are the core of the cyclone. You are pure stillness. You are immortal. You are ever present. In this material world, the only thing that is real is you. What is real is all other souls that are journeying with you. What is real is the life force that flows through all creation. That is real. These are permanent and ever living. That's what you need to focus on and live with. The conscious knowledge of what is real and what is illusion. You must learn about the most important aspect of the illusionary world you're going into. It is the present and the value of the present. You see, Maya, right now, my presence, our presence, we are all in eternal state. We have no beginning or no end. We are all continuous and present. We are ever present. We are eternal presence. Now, in the world you're going to, the presence will actually be made to shrink so much that you almost won't even know it exists. That's how you will lose yourself in this material world, unless you guard against the illusion and you be aware of the importance of the present. In the material world, you will have a past, which is endless, and a future, which is also endless. And where the two endless illusory monoliths meet, that will be the present. Just a very fine line, which almost does not exist unless you strive hard to live in it and stretch it until it becomes eternal. Eternal present like we are now, before you are born. So your soul is eternally present in the material world. If you can achieve a conscious knowledge of being eternally present, you will see your soul everywhere you look. You will see me everywhere you look. That should be your goal, to live in eternal presence. And then stretch that presence completely, because all that is real is in that real presence. Become ever present in the world where everyone struggles to even anchor into a moment of the present. So Maya hears all this. She doesn't know much about this world. So she says, and how am I going to achieve that? So the origin replies, through living in oneness at all times, seeking me, and seeking us in everything around you. Seeing my essence everywhere, seeing your essence everywhere. And finally, bringing this noisy mind that I'm going to give you to complete stillness in meditation, where you can anchor yourself into the present very firmly and experience this pure present through meditation, and then manifest it in your conscious reality. And when you have done this, you will have realized yourself. You will have realized me, you will have gained enlightenment, and you will have become the all-knowing. You will need to journey no more, because you will have then dissolved into us. So Maya was so thrilled to learn that life in this world was going to give her an opportunity to become one with her origin, to complete her journey. She's thrilled. She gets to dissolve into the ocean of light and complete all the learning she has ever sought. All in one lifetime, through a world that is imperfect and governed by illusionary time that is demonstrated by rotating devices. An epitome of spiritual naivety, and yet a fertile ground to harvest knowledge. That's our world. So you may have realized by now that Maya is actually at the 7th stage of the 10 stages of her soul. And she has chosen to cross the most difficult 3 stages ahead, and hence she has chosen the lessons for her lifetime accordingly. Maya says, this is an experience I pray to live through in this world of temporary illusions, where I may discover the eternal present. That's part of her goal. And true immortality. That's her goal. All of which embodies your ever-living and eternal presence, she says to her Creator. I pray I may merge into your ocean of light and dissolve into your ocean of light and reach the stage which we all in our world call annihilation, dissolution, mukti, fana fi Allah. And the Creator says to her, and so it shall be. This becomes part of Maya's soul bond. Her karmic compass is set to deliver to her the karma of enlightenment, with all events and experience to achieve this union with her Creator. So today we are going to learn and practice a very empowering meditation technique called the meditation of self-discovery. So our first meditation today, we experienced essence and form and their energies. Now, we are going to learn about self-discovery, where we will seek to transform from the material present to the eternal present, where our material self and higher self become one. Now, before we start our meditation, let us take a few moments to understand the concept of the self. What is the self? We've all heard this term, but what is the self? The self is a term we use to describe the being that innately resides in our physical form. So the self is a term we use to describe the being that innately resides in our physical form. We are all accustomed to calling the self I. We all know I. For most of us, we only know one level of self, which is the material self. It is a creation of our minds. Our material self is a creation of our minds, or based on our life's journey from day one, including all the memories and experiences of the past and our perceptions of the future. The vision and capacity of the material self is limited to our three-dimensional world and whatever attitudes and beliefs our mind has been conditioned with. So our material self is very limited. From optimism to pessimism to realism to dreamer and more. These are all things our material self has developed. But the key point is that the material self is a creation of our minds, and since we all live in our minds, it's the only self we know. And many of us don't even know that. The material self knows an endless past and an endless future. It's aware of that. But where the two meet, there is that very fine line, the present, which almost doesn't exist, unless one is consciously seeking to engage with the present. Now let's take an example of a young man. Let's call him Deepak. I like the name Deepak because it means light. And let us call his material self Little Deepak. And for Deepak, this is the only self he knows and believes in. Then there's another level of the self, which we refer to the higher self, which is little known. So for Deepak, the higher self, let's call it Big Deepak. So we have Little Deepak and Big Deepak. Material self, higher self. What is the higher self? It is a superconscious mind, wherein resides the soul and its direct linkage with the Creator. That is your higher self. So the higher self is light, infinite intelligence, and above all, ever living and eternal. So it is the real I, which we all seek in meditation, the self we seek to realize, the self we discover when we achieve self-realization. That's the higher self. Now, what is the difference between Little Deepak and Big Deepak? I mean, the material self and the higher self. How are they different? Little Deepak, the material self, has a very narrow bandwidth of perception and vision based on the limitations of Deepak's mind. It is temporary and will end with Deepak's physical form when it dies. It harbors all Deepak's biases, fears, apprehensions, and a whole range of his emotions and attitudes. It can be the most selfish part of Deepak's being, if he is that way inclined. It is the home of Deepak's ego. And most importantly, Little Deepak is only really alive in that very fine line of the present. He's not alive in the past, he's not alive in the future, it's only alive in the present. And most importantly, this is what we have to realize. And this present is flanked by the past on one side and the future on the other. And Little Deepak sees the present as almost non-existent. So he just knows that it's very short, just like a keyhole, beyond which lies the entire universe. But Little Deepak only knows that little keyhole. You get the picture, I'm sure. You all know Little Deepak. You all know your little self, your little material self. We all know the little keyhole because we live within it. We all know that there is a whole universe behind it, but we only go as far as the little keyhole. So now let us look at Big Deepak. the higher self. It is the most intelligent dimension of Deepak, spanning well beyond the three-dimensional world he knows. It embodies all the knowledge that resides in Deepak through his timeless journey. Big Deepak has no attitudes, no biases, no fears, apprehensions, or any worldly prejudices. It's real and pure. His higher self is real and pure. Pure light, pure knowledge, pure intelligence. His higher self is eternal and it lives forever, not limited by anything at all. The higher self was never born, nor will it ever die. It simply emerged from the ocean of light of the Creator and will dissolve back into the light. So there's no birth or death for the higher self. Therefore, it is immortal and ever continuous, with no beginning and no end. And most importantly, the higher self knows no past and no future, and is not limited by either of these two icons, which dwarf the present in little Deepak, the material self. Therefore, without a past and without a future, the higher self, Big Deepak, resides in the endless, eternal present. Eternal present. So therefore, in today's meditation, we are going to begin with the material self in the very narrow present, and then we are going to rise to the eternal present, the home of the higher self, the level where our material self meets the higher self. A very beautiful and empowering experience. And I will share a technique in our today's class, which will help us try to merge our material self with the higher self. And the more we practice, the stronger this merger will become until finally we will have the two selves living together, rising from the narrow present to the eternal present. Now, when I was preparing today's class, I was absolutely overcome by the power and beauty of this meditation, which I sincerely look forward to sharing with you all. So now, sit back and relax and breathe freely. Breathe freely. It's a short meditation, but it's something I really would like you to take every experience in very deeply, because it is my prayer that after today's class, you will practice this. We will do our level best to get you this recording of this meditation as quickly as we can. So sit back and relax and breathe freely. Close your eyes. Relax and breathe freely. I'd like you to imagine that you're standing in the beautiful manicured gardens of a majestic estate manor building, which is of historic, symbolic, historic value and awe. It's an estate mansion surrounded by beautiful gardens. Take a moment and look at this beautiful large building that continues on and on. And then look at the gardens around, perfectly manicured, trees, plants, flowers, so well kept care of, so beautiful. Take a moment and look at this garden. There are paths that go in different parts of the garden, and you're standing on one of them. The sun is shining, it's a blue sky, and you are in one of the finest, most carefully cultivated gardens, a professional work of art. Take a moment and see this garden. Appreciate it. Internalize it. And then you start walking down the path that leads towards the auditorium building, because you want to go to the auditorium. And as you start walking, you come across this beautiful lake, small lake of crystal clear water. And you pause for a moment. And this path goes along the lake, but you stop. And you take a look at the water. And you admire this beautiful lake because it's so well cultivated. There's some rocks in the middle that outcrop from the lake. There's floating lotuses, lotus flowers, and around the rocks there's also lilies. It's very beautiful. Take a moment and look at this beautiful lake, so well catered to, so well cultivated. The water is so pure, you can see the bottom and the little fish that swim. And the water is sparkling in the sunshine. And as you look, there's a gentle gust of wind which forms ripples and little waves that spread all over the lake. And you look at this water because you're standing right at the lake, and you would like the water to go completely still. So you look at the water and the little waves, and you repeat, stillness, stillness, stillness. And you let the waves slow down. Stillness, stillness, stillness. Keep repeating this word as you watch the water slowing down completely. Stillness. And now the water has gone completely still. There is no ripple, there is no wave. You can see the reflection of your face in this water. You can see the reflection of the blue sky. It is completely still. The water is completely still. You look at this lake and you admire its stillness. And then you keep walking along the path, repeating in your mind, stillness, stillness, stillness. And this path is leading you to the auditorium building where you wish to go. And as you leave the lake behind, you keep walking, repeating, stillness, stillness, stillness. The path is flanked by trees on either side. Nice, green, luscious trees as you keep walking. And then you come to a crossroad where there is a left turn, a right turn, and the road can carry on straight. And there are 3 beacons, 3 signposts at this crossroad. There's one signpost, one beacon with an arrow that points to the left, which says the past. And there's a path that goes to the past. And you pause and you look at this beacon and you look down the road of the past and you repeat, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. You offer gratitude to the past and all its gifts and its memories and experiences and wisdom. The past that has made you who you are. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And then there's another path that turns to the right. And the beacon with an arrow says the future. And you look at the path of the future, just goes on and on. You look at the beacon, you read the words, the future, and you repeat in your mind, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude for the future you're looking for, where your hopes and aspirations lie. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And then there is a third beacon, which points in the direction which you just came from the lake, which says the world. So you turn around and look behind you and you see the lake in the distance. But you choose not to go back into the world. You've left it behind. But you look at the beacon which points you to the world behind you and repeat gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. This is your world. This world has everything, your family, your loved ones, your work, your events, everything in this world. It is behind you. And you offer deepest gratitude. But you choose to move forward. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And you start to walk down the path and you see a sign which points you to the auditorium. And you keep walking, repeating stillness, stillness, stillness. And when you reach the auditorium, it is a beautiful standalone building. Old bricks, built of old bricks, very artistic. As you stand at the door of this auditorium, before you open the door, you repeat, silence, silence, silence. You go completely quiet. Your being is completely still. Silence, silence, silence. And then you open the door and you walk into this beautiful auditorium. It's not very big. And you see seats arranged in a semicircle, all facing a stage which is in the center. And you walk past the seats until you come to the first row. And you sit down and you look at the stage. The stage, which is a little higher than where you are seated, 3 or 4 steps up, is covered by a curtain, a golden curtain. And the curtain is made of 2 halves. One which covers the left side of the stage, another which covers the right side. And where the 2 meet, there's a very fine line. The curtain's not completely closed, and you see a glow of a white light coming through the center where the 2 halves of the curtain meet. And you sit and you look at the glow of this light coming from that meeting point of 2 halves of the curtain. And you look at that light and you realize that that is the present. That is your material present. You are sitting in the audience, which is the material audience. And you look at the material present, and all it is just a fine light, white light, like a pencil line. And you decide you want to go and rise higher. and experience more. So you climb up from the left-hand side of the stage, you climb up 4 steps, and you walk to the center of the stage and stand right in front of this thin line of white light. And you look at this light, beautiful white light, but just a pencil line. And you grab hold of the curtain, the left-hand side, and you start pulling it back, and you walk along, you walk left with the curtain until you push it all the way behind the left wall of the stage, until you cannot see the left-hand curtain at all. That left curtain was the past. You pushed it all aside until it exists no more. And then you walk back to the center of the stage and you push the right-hand curtain and keep walking right with it all the way to the end of the stage where you push the right-hand curtain behind the wall. And this is the side of the future. So you pushed aside the past till you can see it no more. You pushed aside the future, which you can see it no more. What lies in front of you is the pure present, the eternal present. And it's a bright, warm, loving light in this present. As you walk into the stage, you see a nice little rug in the center and you sit yourself down, facing the audience. You are sitting on the floor now. And you are surrounded by this bright, warm, loving light of the eternal present. And then you close your eyes and you see this light of life, light of creation, flowing through your being, reaching every cell in your body. All you see now is light, pure, bright, warm, loving light. And you repeat in your mind, eternal light, eternal light, eternal light, as you look into this warm, loving light that you have now become. Eternal light, eternal light, eternal light. And then you repeat eternal life, because you are now in the eternal present, which has no beginning or no end. You repeat eternal life, eternal life, eternal life. You are in the midst of eternal life. Eternal life. And in this eternal present is where your higher self resides. So your material self merges into your higher self. You become one. You are now one self. Your material self and your higher self. And you repeat one self, one self, one self. Keep repeating one self as your material self and your eternal self, higher self, become one. One self. One self. Keep repeating this word as the light of eternal life flows through you. One self. One self. You are no longer a material self and higher self. You are now one self. So you are no longer I, you are we. You are one self, you are we. And as one self, you repeat in your mind, ever present, ever present, ever present. Because there's no past for you, there's no future for you. There is the eternal present. So you repeat, ever present, ever present, ever present. You repeat, we are ever present. We are ever present. We are ever present. You are now one self, higher self, material self. You are one. We are ever present. We are ever present. And then you repeat, we are ever living. We are ever living. We are ever living. Ever living. Ever living. We are ever living. You are one self, you are ever living. Then you repeat, we are eternal life. We are eternal life. Eternal life. Eternal life. Eternal life. Eternal life. You are in the eternal present. You are one with your higher self. You have no beginning and no end. You are ever continuous. And you repeat, we are ever continuous. We are ever continuous. Ever continuous. Ever continuous. We are ever continuous. And finally repeat, we are eternal present. We are eternal present. We are eternal present. Because for you there is no past and no future. Your higher self and material self are one. We are eternal present. We are eternal present. It's the light of eternal life, the light of creation flows through you. Your being is filled with this light. You are in the eternal present. And then you repeat, we are oneness. We are oneness. You are in oneness with your higher self. You are in oneness with the eternal life, with the eternal present. You are in oneness with all creation. Oneness. 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 Keep repeating this word, oneness. 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 And in the eternal present, in the oneness, all you are is light. And in the midst of this light, you see the hand of a loving parent. And you, the little child, take hold of that hand. This is the hand of your Creator that leads you ahead towards linkage, towards discovering your source. As you repeat, surrender, surrender, surrender. You surrender all control, and like that child who trusts completely in his or her parent, you let that hand guide you into the light, where you see this rose of light, and your linkage word, the name of your source, is written on each petal. And this hand places you gently into the middle of this rose, which then closes into a bud, and you are surrounded by the name of your Creator, your linkage word. You recite that word within yourself. You're surrounded by that word. You are in pure light as you repeat your linkage word. I will use origin. You use the word you have chosen or the word you have been given. Origin. 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 Keep repeating your linkage word in complete peace and oneness with the light. Origin. Keep repeating your linkage word for a few more moments. In the presence of this light, we offer gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude for the blessing of today, for the experiences of today, the learning of today. Gratitude for all the blessings we have received in our lives and continue to receive. Gratitude for the blessing of fresh air, clean water, our environment, our pristine earth. Gratitude for our families, loved ones, friends, all of who bring such meaning to our lives. Gratitude for everything, all the abundance, all the opportunities, everything we have been graced with. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Keep repeating this word and let your words of gratitude flow from you to all creation, to all the universes. For together we all offer gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. And you may open your eyes whenever you're ready. That was an experience of bringing together the material present into the eternal present, where our higher self resides. And we had the opportunity for our material self to become one with the higher self in the eternal present. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, some by meditation behold or see the self, in the self, by the self. So Sri Krishna says, some by meditation see the self, in the self, by the self. And for the longest time I wondered what he meant. See the self, in the self, by the self. I read this verse many years ago and tried to figure out its meaning. But my dear friends, today, that's exactly what we practiced. The material self, our material self, opened the curtains in that auditorium to the eternal present, without any past or any future, only the present, the ever present, where the higher self resides. And then the material self merged into the higher self in the eternal present. So it is now in the self, according to the words of Sri Krishna, in the self. So when you open that curtain, set in eternal present, your material present, your eternal present, all became one. Yourself became one. You became one self. You are now in the self, according to the words of Sri Krishna. The one self, the fusion of the higher and material self, a fusion of the temporary with the eternal. And as we practice meditation in this state of the eternal present as one self, we are seeking to see the light in the eternal present by the one self. Because now the one self is seeking the light through oneness and linkage, seeking to realize its creator. So we are seeing the self by the self. And in the words of Sri Krishna, you will then see the self. So your true self, that's where you will achieve self-realization. What a blessed and exalted state to reach. We all can if we do our best and are graced with success by the will of the Creator. So practice this meditation very regularly. Go into the eternal present. Become the one self and meditate as I have shown you today until you reach your goal. And I pray you all may reach this goal of blessed realization by the grace of the Creator. So the technique we've learned and experienced today is very profound, and we are all ready for it because we have done so many classes, and each time we've ventured deeper and deeper and deeper. And today is the first time we experience the energies of the form and the energies of the essence with the wave and the water. We experience the eternal present and the material self and higher self coming together. We placed ourselves in a position where our search for linkage and oneness with our Creator is wide open in the eternal present because there is no past and no future. So to conclude, recognize that your essence is timeless and eternal. Place yourself in the stage of the eternal present and seek your divine self, your soul, through meditation. And that actually fulfills these precious words that were relayed in the Bhagavad Gita so many thousands of years ago. In the self, by the self, see the self. All right, guys, welcome. Tosin, you have questions for me? Let's go.
I have questions for you, so let me bring them up now. First question, somebody says, with the Pearl exercise, can it be used for when we will type questions? For example, when will I know that I should change my job?
Yeah, I mean, the exercise of the Pearl is very much you consulting with your higher self. So if you feel that you're at a stage in life where you want advice from within about changing your job, changing your profession, moving, anything that's of a significant magnitude in your life, then yes, by all means, use the Pearl. There's no restriction at all. I think the only thing I would say vis-a-vis the Pearl is you consult the Pearl for really important decisions. Not what color lipstick I should wear and all that. I mean, that is just demeaning. But if you stay with focus and things that are of impact in your life, you can consult the Pearl and work with it as much as you wish.
Okay, question here. I have read that our personality traits are carried with us through different karmic cycles. Is this true? And if not, is there anything that does carry over from soul cycle to soul cycle? Question.
Okay, I think when we talk of personality traits, we talk about things of this material world that are developed within the core of the material mind, then that does not move on with us, because what leaves with us is the superconscious mind, which is the knowledge that we have acquired in this lifetime. And then post that, we then have to move on to new levels of learning. And so things like personality traits, attitudes, approaches, these are very much of the material world. Now, if your karmic learning requires you to take on a particular personality, a particular approach to life, then that's fine. But it's not necessarily what you brought with you from before. I think they're quite distinct.
Going back on karma, this is individual. Our good or bad deeds does not transfer or affect our kids. Question.
No, I think that the effect that we leave on our kids is the way we behave, is the way we live, is the way we think. because we transpose our thinking and attitudes and beliefs onto our children. But as we move on, they will remain with all the things we taught them. But as far as carrying that on as if we left and everything to do with our karma remains with them, no. They are souls on their own journey. They have chosen their learning. Part of their learning is living and growing with us. Part of that is being conditioned by us. So as long as they are under our influence and we condition them, yes. But as we move on, as they move on with life, as their events in life keep changing, then I think that the two do not bear a connection with one another, because your journey is yours, your learning is yours, your deeds are yours, your children's are their own. They'll draw from you as long as they do, and then they will find their own world too.
Does life give you a confirmation if you are doing everything correct? Question.
Well, I think you have to just live life. You have to be. And you have to experience life and whatever it gives you. There's nothing right about I'm doing everything right or I'm doing everything wrong. The question I would ask you is, are you living fully? And when you're living fully, are you taking in all the lessons that are coming your way? Are you making the most of it? If the answer is yes, then you're living a full life. The answer is no, and you're living in the past all the time, or you're worried about the future, then it's time to change. So with that, I believe we are coming up to time, so we won't have any more questions. But I'd like to wish you all a blessed week ahead. God willing, we will have a recording of the class on karma coming out soon. We will try and get you this meditation very soon. And we look forward to having our next masterclass, which will be on the creative faculty. Not next Saturday, but the Saturday after. So stay blessed, stay happy, and may you always be filled with light in your heart, in your minds, in your souls. And the grace and blessing of the Creator always be with each one of you and your families and your loved ones forever. God bless.